Okay, no problem.
Some competitive
Okay,
Age of Empires too, ladies and gentlemen.
Strong backed play right there.
Wow.
No problem. All right. Well, I'm ready with game 2 if you guys are. I mean, we're skipping the draft. We're going to go straight in. Count us down. Not from pi. Just count from 3.
And how big
You
should
can
the
do
stage
it.
be? No. Okay.
You can
3,
do it. I believe in you.
2, 1, go.
All right. Brilliant. Welcome to game 2 of BacT versus and ACCM versus MbL and Slam. I was going to say BacT versus ACCM and MbL and Slam because he's clearly working against his teammate here, getting his king killed like that in game number 1. Inexcusable, BacT, inexcusable, but at least it gave something for the chat to talk about. I like to see the chat getting full of spam like that. I'm a big fan of the chat spam. But anyway, we've got BacT here in the blue, playing as the Malay again. And down to the southwest in the pink, we've got Turks on ACCM. Have they just basically secured themselves the victory for game number 2 right here? ACCM taking the Turks? What is this?
Yeah, so of course, for those of you who follow ZeroEmpires on YouTube, which all of you should, we all know that the Turks is objectively the best civilization in Age of Empires 2. In all seriousness, though, they're a civilization with very pronounced strengths and weaknesses. They're probably one of the most gold-dependent, if not the most gold-dependent civilizations in the game, since they only have spearmen and skirmishers in the late game, so they have hussars, which is great. However, you can't make only hussars when you run out of gold. Thankfully, though, the Turks do have excellent gunpowder. They're known for their fast Imperial Age strategy, and in a team game, when you can actually establish a trade line, they certainly have some use. Wait, so is it double Turks?
Oh, wait, you're kidding me?
Are you serious?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, up to the northwest
new
of the
metagame.
map, we've got MbL as the Turks as well, so
Oh, is
I
it
take
mirrored?
that back. They've not secured, yeah, it's mirrored, but it's not. They've not secured themselves the victory. In fact,
It's the counter.
since both players have taken the Turks, since both BacT and ACCM and Slam and MbL have the Turks on their team, we are just going to see a deadlock. We're going to see an engagement that lasts a lifetime, and this game cannot be won by either side because the Turks just cannot lose. So, prepare yourselves. This is going to be a marathon game right here. And that probably is going to make up for the fact that last game was literally 5 minutes.
Yes, and of course, in the typical Zach and Resonance co-cast, of course, this game will go on for eternity, as these two god civilizations will be duking it out. So you have the Malay in here as well, which last game didn't get to do anything at all, but I assure you all that the Malay is a strong competitive civilization because they advance through the ages 80% faster, and they just have a wide variety of strengths at their disposal. This is Yucatan, so this is the type of map where it's actually fairly easy to wall, but you can't get complacent. As we've seen in many previous games before this, if you do want to wall along this river, God, there are 4 Jaguars between Slam and BacT in this one choke point. That's gonna suck when they see that. Not only that, they're gonna have to deal with the discounted transport ships as always a threat. God, I can't wait to see them try and wall that.
Well, I mean, they might not wall the river, to be honest. I mean, looking at BacT's map, he's
Yeah.
actually got a great circle of trees around his TC. And if Nilpford was using his maximum resolution right now, we'd probably be able to see that on one screen, which is very nice because it kind of gives you a sense of just how easy this is for BacT to wall, I guess. Should be kind of using those natural tree lines to wall up very safely at home without running the risk of getting transported over the river later on, which is something we did see earlier and with Tato and Nikov, I believe, when they actually did transport around a walled-off choke point on that river. So MbL here saying you're so dead to who? To who exactly?
Oh, they're having a scout fight.
Yeah, but ACCM and BacT have their scouts together. What is MbL talking about?
It's intimidation, the mind games, and we're going to need it. This is the bronze match. The stakes are high. It's a $50 difference in prize pool. Now, poor Slam might actually have to wall that river unless he wants to leave the front half of his base open just based off the map generation, or he's going to wall a little further back, but then he's still going to leave himself vulnerable to transport, so my eyes are on him. It's like you said, though. You generally want to wall the forest instead if you can help it, just because the threat of that transport ship, it could definitely come into play, so all eyes on these fellows. It looks like Slam is actually going to dock, and he's going to try and take advantage of the shorefish, so I think that'll be a reasonable boost to his economy, provided he has enough adjacent shorefish and doesn't commit to this too hard. And Slam starting the back of his wall. He's sending his scout forward. Has he located the jaguars? No.
Yeah, he's... Oh, I thought he might have seen them. There's actually 5 there in that gap, actually.
Oh
it's quite funny. But, yeah, it looks like ACCM, he's actually opting to wall the river, which is... It's all fine. I mean, it depends on your map. He could have walled back at home, to be honest, but... Given where his deer are, he's probably thinking, well, if I wall the river, I can take the deer quite safely as well. And he's going to do that now with a single mill to cover 8 deer. That's a very nice amount of deer in one location, and often is the case on Yucatan, as there is just such an abundance of food on this map. Oftentimes, you will see the players going for that fast castle. Sometimes they might be tempted to go for a drush, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be witnessing a drush in this one, as everybody seems quite content to just wall up and boom their economy a little bit in the Dark Age here. So yeah, gonna be getting ourselves comfortable. Get your popcorn out, put your feet up, because we're going to be waiting here until we get to the Castle Age before we see much action. Interestingly, Slam adding in 4 fishing ships onto the river here. There's no big fish in these rivers. It's only going to be shore fish, and there is never ever big fish, I believe, on Yucatan. I mean, unless it's very unusual and you get a big lake or something somehow, but I don't think it's possible for big fish to spawn even. So he knows that there's only shore fish, but he's using these 4 fishing ships to supplement his economy. As the Malay, as a naval civilization, what does he get on that? I don't think he actually gets anything that affects his fishing ships, right?
Oh, they used to be discounted, and by the way, you said that the action would pick up in the Castle Age, but Slam is fighting his greatest enemy yet, an army of jaguars. He actually had to bring 3 villagers over here to wall that off, because he saw that with his scouts, so this is the epic battle we've been waiting for. MbL also lost a villager early on, I think, to ACCM Scout. Anyway, so we're talking about the Malays fishing ships. So what they have are infinite fish traps that never need to be reseeded, and that is a bonus that, even though fish traps don't seem that great, that bonus is actually pretty good in the later stages of the game, because you don't have to spend any of your attention actually reseeding them manually, and with gill nets, they're about the same efficiency as a farmer with wheelbarrow and handcart, provided they're very, very close to the dock. So him making additional fishing ships isn't that much of a commitment, because he can just build fish traps with them. They used to have discounted fishing ships, but that was some unnecessary power and overlapped too much with the Italians, so we did take that out.
Yeah, so they were nerfed a little bit there as well. But yeah, for now, I mean, we're seeing this sort of team wall coming up from MbL and Slam. They're getting themselves walled up nicely. Same can be said for ACCM and BacT as well. Everyone's just getting their walls up in place. Now, do you know what I think AOC needs? I think the Age of Empires community needs? I think the players are too nice to each other. I think we need some, like, you know, WWE style trash talk before a match. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see like a 1v1 where both players get on TeamSpeak before and they just trash talk each other about how they're going to absolutely wreck each other. It might be a bit cringe, but I think it would also give us some really funny moments, and I'd love to see more rivalries and stuff like that. Everyone's just too nice.
Provided they're clever about it, that could definitely be entertaining. A few other things I wanted to touch on is that, one, Slam with the mill on the right side of his base, excellent value, immaculately well placed, as he does get to take advantage of that shorefish. Villagers gather food at different rates from different sources of food, and shorefishers are really, really efficient. And he also gets to, of course, enjoy all the deer. When we're talking about why the fast Castle Age strategy is so dominant on a map like Yucatan, it is for a number of reasons. One, it's generally very easy to wall off. Two, there are so many extra food resources, making that fast Castle Age so much easier to afford, and then that's when we expect the action to pick up. ACCM, the final player to the Feudal Age, and if we look at Slam's base, he's actually not able to afford the Castle Age yet. He's going to have to wait for some significant food drop-offs that will delay him slightly. He's still building more fish. Yeah, fish traps! Here it comes! Yeah!
Get him out! Out. Look at that little infinity symbol right there. Infinite food.
Infinite value.
Oh, God. I mean, you can't... Yeah, that's a good point, actually. 100 wood for infinite food?
It's actually... It's discounted. Wait, is it still discounted? Do you review that?
Fish traps should cost...
I think they...
What is it? 66% less? So it costs 66...
Or 33% less, so it should cost 66 wood. I don't think we took that out, yeah.
Well, 66 wood for infinite food. That's certainly not too bad, and certainly makes it a bit more manageable. Slam clicking up to the Castle Age now, and he's going up lightning fast, since he is, of course, the Malay. BacT also has some fishing ships going on as well, and he's also getting on that fish trap hype. He's also got his fish traps a little further back, so perhaps a little safer, but, I mean, both players, in fact, with their fish traps in a very safe position. I love this. It's like they're just hunkering down, they're stockpiling food for a rainy day, getting themselves into a bunker, ready for this long, drawn-out war, which is about to happen, I feel. You know, as we stated already, this game cannot end because both teams have the Turks in them. So, Castle Age will be coming down for the Malay players first. I think it's going to be BacT and Slam reaching the Castle Age at basically identical times. BacT maybe slightly faster, and Slam basically a second later here. It seems like neither player is ready to get aggressive, though. Neither player has a barracks. Neither player has any military production buildings. They're just like, yeah, let's just honor these walls, honor our civilizations, and build new town centers.
So MbL actually trying to play Age of Empires 2 here, and he is going to build 3 scout cavalry in the feudal age, but he is going to be wholly disappointed as this is Yucatan and is very easy to get a wall. However, you might be surprised that ACCM never actually finished his wall up, so MbL is going to notice this soon. He might be able to do just a little bit of harassment. And I have to say, this is easily this is the highlight of my week. We never get to see Malay fish traps actually used, but I've run the tests. I was there in the room when Cision came up with the idea. I love this bonus so much, and it's really, really underrated. It's not necessarily practical to replace your entire farming economy with it, and a lot of the time, it's not going to be that useful based on the map. But we're talking about Yucatan. There are all these safe bodies of water at the back, so I always recommend mixing in a couple of fish traps. Not a million of them, because they tend to get stuck on each other, and it's ridiculous if you have to build like 50 docks, but still, it's a strong bonus, it's infinite value, and it's great to see. Oh god, that villager.
Yeah, but you know what's bullshit?
What?
You know what's bullshit? That scout ran through the gate after he'd started building it. Get your HD readies in the chat. Because I don't know if Nilford caught that. I'm guessing he did because he's a 3K commentator. No, yeah, well, he's a 3K commentator as well.
3K cameraman.
But, I mean, I'm sure he... Okay, maybe I'm just seeing it differently. Because I know that he had that gate up first. But I think looking at the stream, the gate wasn't actually ready yet. I'm not sure.
Well, either way, that gate's down, and that's like, what, 30 stone down the drain? And a villager, so that's certainly going to slow him down. And now ACCM is like, what the hell is this? I thought we agreed. It's Yucatan. I get to fast Castle Age, and then we get to slap each other. But the scouts are already in his base. He's putting down a town center, mining a bunch of stone. I'm curious if he's going to reassign those villagers, or that was just done automatically. So now, you know, a wrench thrown into the mix. These players are going to have to defend themselves. Meanwhile, MbL on his way to the Castle Age, but he's really not that far behind considering he committed so many scouts to this. He also is mining a ton of gold. What's the plan? Double stable knights? We're gonna find out.
Yeah, Nilford, could you just confirm whether or not the scout did run over the foundation or not?
I think the scout ran over before ACCM started to started the wall, yeah.
Because I was on BacT's point of view, and I could see the gate going down. I thought the villager was building it, but it seems like it wasn't a bug. It was just the gate wasn't actually being built yet. So, good, fortunate timing. Anyway, MbL's through, and of course, being the Turks, being the almighty Turks, he doesn't even have to upgrade to the light cavalry. Oh no, that's a free upgrade for him. And that's light cavalry now in the back of BacT's base. Unable to find any damage though yet, because BacT has managed to wall that up with the palisade there, and ACCM has also managed to keep him away with those 2 TCs, and now a castle on the front of his base as well. Anyway, 2 stable knights, what are we thinking? Could be a possibility. We've got a one stable up for MbL at the moment. ACCM's building his castle, and for the rest of the guys, well, it's a 4 TC for BacT and a 4 TC for Slam. So far, not really seeing any signs of life from these guys. Well, military anyway.
So what exactly is all this gold for our friend MbL? And the answer is we're going to transfer those gold miners to another town center next to 2 additional gold mines. So Looks like he's just going for one stable right now. He's not even queuing up knights. And I think he recognizes that as soon as ACCM gets this castle down, that this aggression will kind of just peter out. Nice to see him, though, taking full advantage of the free-like cavalry for the Turks. It makes their scout rush a lot better, and the faster gold mining, it's actually 20% faster now. It gave it an additional 5%. Gives them quite a good night rush, too. It means that he will require fewer villagers on gold to sustain that. So I think that since BacT is able to reach the Imperial Age 80% faster, which is really significant, we will see some action picking up soon. Slam actually opening the front of his base to drop some forward outposts to see exactly what BacT is up to, but he's not going to see anything besides a couple houses.
Yeah, that's lovely. Forward outposts. And I think he's going to use those forward villages to do a bit more as well. But for now, I mean, both players, BacT and Slam, just focused on booming up. Looks like BacT is going to be a bit faster to the Imperial Age. He's slightly ahead on food, maybe slightly ahead then overall. But either way, for now, it's just kind of like a stalemate. No one's really willing to get aggressive anywhere. But at the back of ACCM's base, we did see a little raid coming in from MbL. He will find nothing. Okay, he'll find ACCM's scout. But ACCM making the wonderful, the fantastic, the invincible Janissaries right here. Just so strong. Look at them. They're so inaccurate. But when they do hit, they hit pretty hard. And ACCM looks like he just wants to go for that, mass of Turk Janissaries. He's looking to go for the bombard cannons with the extra range. He's looking to throw down bombard towers and just lock down the map and make it really difficult for MbL, or, well, I guess MbL might do the same as the Turks as well, but make it difficult for either team to really progress forward. And look at this, MbL on the water with a demolition raft. What's he gonna find?
He's gonna find a bunch of fish
all
traps.
the fishing ships. Oh no.
Unipathing, can you do it? Yeah, that's good enough.
I love it. Okay, he got 2 fishing ships, he got 2 fish traps, and MbL now coming in with a fire galley as well. Lovely stuff. Making use of those 2 forward docks there. And that's going to shut down that free food from BacT. Sad day for BacT right here. Sad day indeed.
This is something I talked a lot about in my Civ overview, but the general idea is that Malay fish traps are infinite value, which is my favorite phrase in existence, as I'm such a greedy player. They're very strong. The thing is that in practice they have a ton of weaknesses to them, and in this case we see that it's very difficult to actually protect them until we give a civilization the ability to put fishing ships inside a dock or something like that. It's very difficult to actually protect them compared to farmers, and you're also quite vulnerable to things like a dock. So it's really good to see that MbL going to shut down that infinite value train. That's going to be a big blow to BacT's economy. That's one of the many reasons why you shouldn't commit to a mono fish trap eco. And we see there's a bit of a battlefront being established here between Slam and BacT, the forward university from Slam, a mangonel coming down from him as well. He's actually putting down 2 additional docks. I expect that those docks are actually going to be for ships to try and clog up that choke point, as ships are just so much more cost efficient than land units, provided they are actually in range of them. And now BacT gonna have to build his own demolition raft, his own fire galley, and the action is about to pick up. BacT in the Imperial Age, 80% faster. What's he gonna do with this now that he's here?
Well, a transport ship is coming out from the dock on the front, and exactly what you said before about the docks from Slam. He's already done the war galley upgrade, and he's actually going to use this to try and hold down the choke point, basically. However, there is a castle here from BacT already, and that ship is going to go down if it stays too close for too long, so he's going to back up towards his docks here. We've also got a castle coming down from Slam as well, and it's just like everyone's just fortifying up right now, getting ready to prepare themselves for this sort of push through the choke point. But interestingly, MbL has somehow, I think with the transport as well perhaps, snuck a villager behind BacT's economy here. He's got a siege workshop up, and he's sending his knights through as well. BacT's lost 1 villager, and the knights are going to go ham on the palisade wall to try and break through now. BacT's got to keep these guys out, but it's going to be really hard, while MbL will be adding in a mangonel, I imagine, any second now, once he's got the wood for it, to pressure this even more. BacT, well, he's open, and those knights from MbL are coming in hot. There's a monk, however, in defense, and that should be enough to get 1 conversion, but maybe not enough to deter MbL entirely. He's probably still going to look to try and kill some villagers and raid as much as he can back here.
What a truly bizarre game, Zach. On the left side of the map, I never see this in competitive Age of Empires 2. I'm pretty sure ACCM is Castle Age raiding with Janissaries versus another Turks player. And MbL is going to have some difficulty defending against this, and one of the best ways to do that is either going to be with a defensive Mangonel, but he has to be careful of the 8 range on these, or with a defensive Monastery, so he's going to have to hold the line. This rating is going to be very effective at slowing MbL down and kind of closing the gap between both players. Meanwhile, BacT is somehow getting pincered. He's actually getting attacked at the front by Slam, and on the other side by MbL because of this transport ship, which is really going to slow him down because BacT blew all of his money on the Imperial Age, so he doesn't actually have that many military units. He will, though, crucially be able to convert those knights, and now he has to deal with the large navy at the front. What is going to be BacT's choice of units? Because right now it's just monks and transport ships, and it looks like we're going to see a very standard Malay arbalest because they have all the upgrades for that.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a trebuchet war going on at the moment. A little bit of a treb fight here over the water of the upper river, I guess. Both players looking to try and bring the trebs down and bring those castles down as well. Whoever controls this water controls the choke point, essentially, because galleons are now in for Slam, and he really wants to just lock this one down, and he's going to be successful with that as well, due in part thanks to MbL's aggression at the back, which has brought the attention of BacT towards the back of his base and not on this front as much as he could have done. ACCM now Imperial, or very, very close to it. He's 80% of the way up now, 85%. And he's getting aggressive here with some forward siege workshop, forward castle. Love to see the Janissary spam coming out. And MbL doesn't have a castle yet. What is this? He's making more stables at the back. Is MbL actually going to be going for like Cavalier once he hits the Imperial Age? Seems like a strange unit choice, but we will have to wait and see what he can do. He's actually not even building a defensive siege workshop. He only has one siege workshop on the map, and that is behind BacT's base. Meanwhile, on the front, BacT's lost his castle, and that could be bad news.
And that it could be, because he needs that castle to protect his dock so he can build ships and then control this very valuable choke point. There are only a few paths to the enemy players on Yucatan, so you have to be able to have that map control. Speaking of map control, on the left side of the map between ACCM and MbL are two godlike Turk players. ACCM has map control, and this is important because it allows him to strip mine all the stone and gold on MbL's little area. And in the later stages of the game, that will really matter. I am pretty sure that ACCM will be able to almost entirely finish the stone mine, or at least get about half of it, before he gets pushed back. He's applying a lot of pressure on the front side. Both ACCM and MbL hit the Imperial Age at approximately the same time, and now ACCM going to build a forward castle with some stone he stole.
And also BacT pushing in as well against MbL here, like moving it forward, building watchtowers in here, sending capped rams forward to try and push MbL down on this right side as well. That's really awesome because, well, they're trying to take one person out of the game quickly. What I'm waiting for is the harbor. I'm waiting for that upgrade to come in from the Malay. I want to see the harbors in this one. Mini castles on the water. You wouldn't want to see that. And especially considering they're trying to control these rivers, I think the harbor could be a very invaluable tool to do that. Okay, so Slam here. Try to take down these watchtowers with his trebuchets, but it's not going to stop BacT breaking through the stone wall. Meanwhile, ACCM is working his way through. He's got the bombard cannons out now. No +2 range on those guys just yet, but give it a while and he will have that 14 range on those guys. MbL's TC very low on health, one shot from going down, and at the same time you've got BacT breaking through with the Arbalest now as well. Karambits coming out for Slam. We're seeing a little bit of everything here. Yet still no harbors yet. We'll see them eventually. We've also got Slam pushing in towards BacT on his side of the map. He's got Arbalest out, and he's going to try and bring down this archery range foundation, behind which BacT has nothing. So I feel like this game is really starting to hot up, and it's going to get very dicey for both MbL and BacT very shortly, as ACCM pushes into MbL's base and Slam pushes into BacT.
So I love the choice to go for Cavaliers from MbL, even though it is a bit unorthodox, specifically just to deal with BacT's push. He's going to completely clean up all those ARBs, all those capped rams. This is very bad for BacT because now Slam is pushing into BacT's own base, and that was a lot of resources down the drain. However, the Cavaliers are a bit of a double-edged sword. They don't actually deal very well with these Janissaries unless you have a large number of them, and that's the elephant in the room, or in this case, the Janissary in the room, as MbL probably going to lose almost all of his base, so all eyes on Slam. He has to basically take out BacT here to either make up for that, and he's in a pretty good position to do that, applying a lot of pressure with these crossbows, or he has to keep MbL alive. We actually haven't seen that many harbors, if at all, in all these tournaments, even though harbors are fairly good, and that's just because they don't cost any stone. They're just like a very cheap fortification. But they've been nerfed so many times that they really don't do that much damage at all anymore, so really all they have left is a long range.
Sure, and I think what you said was right about Slam. He's got to help his teammate out here and damage BacT, and he's doing just that, actually. He is raiding BacT's economy a little bit with these Arbalest, pushing BacT away from his wood line, and also we've got Slam here building archery ranges in his allies' base to get those Arbalest out. ACCM, though, he's already got the Elite Janissary upgrade. And this is why Slam really needs to get these Arbalest here, because he needs the 8 range to come into range of the Janissaries and just try and take them out quickly. You've got to fight at max range here. But these Janissaries are so strong. 50 HP, 22 attack damage. That's just scary. And Slam is going to need a lot of units in order to be able to deal with them. Karambit's also coming in. There's just 4 of them. I don't think Slam's going to overcommit to the Karambits here. He probably built some just out of curiosity and then looked at the stats and was like, holy shit, I'm not using them. So I'm guessing that Slam is just going to focus on the Arbalest right here, and it's probably the best way to go about it. But ACCM is looking scary as he carves a path through MbL's economy, and MbL is just saving up some Cavalier at the back, hoping to be able to push this one back. The problem is, MbL is not using the Turks to their potential here. ACCM knows what's up. He knows, right, I'm playing the Turks, I want Janissaries and bombard cannons. MbL, he's like, oh, give me some of those Cavalier, please. You know, forget the fact I can't do, Paladin. Forget the fact I have 14 ranged bombard cannons and 22 attack Janissaries. I'll just have some Cavalier.
And I have to agree with you, is the Cavalier, they're excellent against the Malay Army Con, but they do nothing against one of the coolest unique units in the game, the Elite Janissary. It's funny because in the Turks mirror match, it's really awkward dealing with mass Janissaries. You kind of need your own bombard cannons because you don't get Arbalest, you don't get Elite Skirmishers or anything, you don't even get Onagers. So you kind of need to rely on Slam to come in with a large army of Arbalest, and will he be able to hold the line? Because this is looking very bad for them, because on the other side of the map, BacT managed to keep himself alive, so now Slam can no longer rely on that pressure. Now their win condition is to keep MbL in the game. Can they do it?
Yeah, they've got to keep MbL in the game and then push it back as well. And they're waiting, they're biding their time. They want the most favorable engagement possible, but BacT's rocked up as well with some of his own Arbalest now. Meanwhile, ACCM is just laying waste to MbL's economy with those 14 range bombard cannons. He has finally done the +2, and he's dropping bombard towers in MbL's economy as well, making it even harder to push back. Right, they're making their push. The Cavalier are coming in. They're just getting obliterated by a sea of bullets. But Slam at the back with his Arbalest should be able to lay into the Janissaries, but those Cavalier just don't provide enough of a meat shield, I feel, and I think ACCM and BacT might be able to hold on here. Though saying that, Slam is bringing in a lot more Arbalest right now, and I think this might be the end of the push for ACCM, because yeah, he's having to fall back. There's just too many Arbalest.
Ladies
and that is, of course... Go ahead.
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is living proof that even gods bleed. The Janissary is actually taking damage. He has to fall back. And crucially, the Elite Janissary is not good at range. They're very, very inaccurate. And even though they have a respectable Pierce armor of 0, that means that they just get eaten by these Arbs. He had a small hill, which was actually quite important in that fight. The ACCM, he didn't lose all of his guys, thankfully. He actually retreated. So now we're on even territory.
Yeah. He should have retreated to the castle
a little sooner,
though, shouldn't he? I mean, why fight there? You could bring your units back towards the castle and use that as well. But I think the real key, here, is that ACCM, he has 4 castles. That means he can only make 4 Janissaries at a time. Slam, he has like 8 archery ranges scattered around the map, maybe more, maybe like 10. So he can outproduce ACCM, and even though, okay, maybe the Arbalest is an inferior unit, it's not going to be, it's going to be a lot easier to mass it up. It's going to be a lot easier to make them, and if you lose your castles, it's much harder to replace a castle than it is to spare 175 wood to build an archery range. So that's really the key there for Slam, and that's what allowed him to push that and push it back. Now, BacT, changing his focus a little bit perhaps. It looks like he's moving towards the wall of Slam here. Slam going to be going up against the capped rams and galleons of BacT, as well as his army, which he seems to be moving over now, although he seems a little indecisive of where to send those units, which are currently sort of just milling around the center of the map. Anyway, castle down for ACCM. He's been pushed back a little bit here, and yeah, we'll see if he can hold on. The bombard towers, of course, great at stalling out pushes, but not so great for actually pushing against trebuchets.
Yeah, but thankfully, of course, the Turks have the answer to everything, and bombard cannons with 14 range is a great deterrent to Trebs. Trebs, one of the 2 units that are excellent versus bombard towers, or I guess one of 3. One of these Trebs, rams, ideally, or your own bombard cannons, but the Turks, they got your back. In the meantime, BacT and ACCM starting to establish a trade line, and thankfully they actually have a map set up where it's not entirely awful. They're going to want to cut through the trees a bit to make that a little bit more feasible. On the other side of the map, though, it's going to be very difficult for MbL and Slam to establish a trade line until they've regained some map control, so that could be quite crucial. These bombard towers will stall, and all they need to do is stall, because in the meantime there's no trade line on the other side, and then as soon as they're ready to counterattack, they will be able to do so.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to get a trade line going as well, because there's such a small choke point between the 2 rivers for MbL and Slam here that where would you actually trade realistically? It's kind of hard, and Yucatan always poses that problem. But anyway, big fight now happening. All 4 players gathering together. It's the gathering at MbL's base. We've got capped rams pushing forward for MbL to try and tear this down, act as a meat shield against all these ranged units from ACCM and BacT. We've got the Cavalier from MbL trying to get in there and cause some disruption, act as a little bit of a meat shield as well. And at the back, you've got Slam's Arbalest, supported by the trebuchets, which are bringing down that castle. Of course, ACCM and BacT should fight under this castle, but that castle is going to fall, and ACCM and BacT really having a hard time actually holding this. Now the castle is gone, they can keep pushing forward some more. Got to be careful, of course, of those bombard towers, and this just looks like it's going to be a big stalemate now, as the castle is gone, but they can't easily push into this without redeploying the trebuchets, and, well, the bombard towers taking out a lot of units as well.
Yeah, Slam the God, somehow able to rescue MbL with the jaws of life. MbL not dead, and major credit to him as well for just holding the line, even though he lost so much of his economy. He's getting raided by Hussars too. He's still in the game. These Cavaliers being quite nice, and he's actually able to afford them, although these players do have to be careful about their gold income. They're getting pushed back.
What a fight, though. I absolutely love seeing them just go at it like this, 2-on-2. Normally it's like a lot of raiding, and it's difficult to really just get everyone in one place for a big battle, but this is exactly what we're seeing here. Sadly for MbL, though, all of his rams are now, well, nearly all gone. His Cavalier are nearly all gone, and that means that they will not be able to continue pushing without those Cavalier in that fight. He is now adding in the Hussar, though. Of course, the Turks do get that upgrade for free, and with +4/+4, they're certainly not a bad unit either to be going in here and taking out those skirmishers and disrupting that front line. But yeah, this is going to be a hold here for ACCM and BacT. I don't doubt it. There's a lot of Janissaries, and now I've said that, I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm fairly certain he will hold on to this. We just need ACCM to bring down the Trebs with his bombard cannons at the back, and there's literally no reason why those trebuchets are still standing right now when the bombard cannons with 14 range are still in the fight.
Indeed, that is the case. Now, of course, the Turks aren't as strong of a civilization as we like to joke about, but in this game, they are seriously getting some sick value, and this is a great example of how the Turks can shine. When you've got that gold income in a team game, you got the proper support you need. MbL is going to have to watch his gold income, that's why he's transitioning into Hussars now. And it always feels very efficient trying to push the Turks with melee units because they're just so good at stalling with their heavy backline of gunpowder, and they've got the bombard towers, so I do like the Arbalest approach a little bit more, but as the Turks, until MbL can establish a trade line, he's kind of shoehorned into making Hussars, and really, if they wanted to establish a good trade line, they had to somehow secure the top right corner of the map and then just sort of mirror the opposing team. But they weren't able to do that, so establishing a trade line is going to be very hard.
Yeah, it's going to be really challenging, and obviously BacT has got that wall off on the right side as well, also making it a little harder. So far, yeah, I mean, they are starting to trade a little bit. They're actually trading from sort of like the left. I guess they're just trading through the choke point in the middle, which I said about earlier. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a problem because that could get pretty blocked up. They need to delete those palisade walls, really. Anyway, the push here on the left side with the battle is still going strong. The ground just littered with bodies here, and they're just throwing more in there. They're not going to... It's going to be unrelenting now until the end of the game because this is so important that they keep this For ACCM and BacT, they really want to secure this so that they can get the important resources behind it. In fact, you can see ACCM moving over to take the stone behind the stables here on the left side, and you even see BacT moving in to take the stone on the right side. So they want this area of the map so they can get the additional resources that are there. And also, obviously, MbL and Slam want this area of the map because, well, if they don't have it, MbL won't have a base anymore. So it's really important for both teams to hold. It's sadly for Slam and MbL, they do seem to be running out of steam. They do seem to be getting pushed back a little bit. And that could be a real problem, could spell trouble for them here, as ACCM also continues to throw down those bombard towers.
Yeah, I would attribute a lot of that to just they were a bit slower to get up their trade line because they didn't have the momentum. They didn't have that space that they needed in order to invest those resources safely into trade carts. Talk about greed, by the way, on the left corner of the map. We see ACCM deleted his market and moved it very so slightly to the left onto enemy territory. So he is actually on MbL's area with his own markets just for a little bit of extra income. These guys are really struggling against this mass ranged army. It's good to see the siege rams from MbL, even though it seems really inefficient. The nice thing about that is that units default to attacking the closest thing to them, so it soaks up so many of those Janissary and Skirm shots. But it's also a colossal investment, and MbL doesn't have any bombard cannons of his own, and now they're just getting pushed.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see MbL taking this route of Cavalier and Hussar. It's not really typical for the Turks to go down that route, and so far ACCM and BacT have been able to push it right back again. And if they start taking out these military production buildings, well, that's going to be game over. And as I say that, they call it. BacT and ACCM going to grab themselves game number 2. That was a very good game though, and I just feel like ACCM really used the Turks to their strength, whereas MbL did not, and that put a lot of pressure onto Slam to support him on this left side, and it also meant that Slam wasn't able to really defend on the right side either, and that meant that BacT could kind of get in there and raise Slam's economy a little bit with some arbalest as well. He was kind of being annoying, to say the least, over on that right side, keeping Slam distracted and allowing them to really push forward on that left.
What an excellent game, and just a really good example of situations where the Turks can shine. Great to see that in this tournament.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit ahead of Nupford there. We didn't do a very good job of staying synced up, I think. I kept slowing down my game, actually, because I was aware I was a little ahead, and I kept slowing down and thinking, okay, that should be enough. Maybe he's caught up now. How far ahead actually was I?
Like 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
10 seconds?
But I did speed up twice.
Oh, Twitch chat, you're such drama llamas.
10 months?
10 seconds. Oh god, no, the spoilers. Oh, save us, please, from the spoilers.
10 years?
10 seconds of game time spoiled. How could you do that out of a 52-minute game? I'm such a terrible person. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. What can I say? It's 1-1. And we've got another game coming. Now, let me just say this. Third place game. I know a lot of people weren't hyped for the third place game. But after seeing that game, are you not entertained? Turks in all their glory. I was entertained. I can tell you that much for free.
For free, even.
For free. I won't charge you to tell you that. I will tell it to you for free.
Okay, I will do the quick analysis, and then we can jump into game number 3. So, BacT and Slam obviously felt pretty even at that time, and I think Slam did the right decision going on the water a bit earlier and therefore had the early advantage. But ACM was killing MbL, mainly because of unit choice. ACM did go for Janissaries, MbL for Cavaliers. The problem was, MbL didn't have access to his 2 stone spots because he was so far behind. So I don't blame him for going for Cavaliers. He had a nice amount of rams out. Later they had very little map and didn't go for the trade. So I liked everything he did past minute 20 there. But he was so behind because he went for 3 kind of useless scouts. He did scout a lot with his first scout and did see I can't pass and go to the other side. He was stuck over here at Slam's side and yeah, therefore slowed himself down a lot. ACM could push the area and MbL on the end didn't build a single castle, and without transcription it's pretty much impossible to have enough stables to get enough Cavaliers and Hussars out and therefore ACM could, advance it with this beautiful push and the extra stone, which is so precious for the Turks.
Absolutely. So it's 1-1, and I don't know, Rez, are you still there, or are you on a quick break right now?
I have returned!
Woo, welcome back. So, Rez, I'm going to give you the task now, and I hope you're up for this task of shilling, of selling out,
all right,
and telling people what's good.
Okay. Well, of course, even though Zach will tell you for free that last game was excellent, speaking of things that are free, this tournament is not free to produce. So, of course, we rely on your support to make sure that future tournaments are possible. If you would like to contribute to this tournament, you can do so by going to the official Expert Aoe2 Patreon page. Please consider tributing us some gold. That way we can continue funding these tournaments and allowing Turks mirror matches like this one to be possible in the future. For those of you who don't use AdBlock on Twitch and YouTube, you also really support the stream, as that ad revenue does go to Escape Gaming, of course. It's also great for those of you who follow us on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. You guys make all this possible. Your viewership, too, helps convince Microsoft to fund future tournaments and grow the competitive scene of Age of Empires 2. So, if you want to see more Janissaries, then you're in the right place. Oh, God. You guys have no idea how much fun this is. I really would love to be sponsored by something. Oh, this is so much fun.
Yeah, I like it as well. It's so funny. Or alternatively, you could subscribe to the channel as well.
Right.
And that also supports the stream and helps us to bring more stuff coming your way. So, we had a funding goal on Patreon of $800. We nailed it, thanks to our 36 patrons on Patreon. And as a result, we are going to be doing a weekly Wednesday stream starting on the 1st of March. For the 1st of March, and every single Wednesday night after that, we are going to be doing a Midweek Madness stream right here. And we're going to be doing that with different settings, different fun games, getting a bunch of different players involved, and it's going to be a huge amount of fun. So thank you for the Patreons for supporting us in that, and if you want to go ahead and support us on Patreon as well, we can get more of that Midweek Madness stuff going, and other great initiatives. So yeah, thanks to Carlini8, of course, for basically putting in $700+ towards that $800 goal. He's the man that can. And that was impressive. But we still have more goals, and obviously we're also going to be hosting that European LAN in summer as well. And that's also made possible by the support of you guys. So, anyway, we've got another game to come. In fact, well, we've got at least another 4 games to come tonight, with a potential of 6 games, sorry. So, everyone, get in here, and let's go ahead and get game.